Good morning, everyone, and hello to the EU-FarmBook online training sessions. Today, the training session, one training session will be on legal aspects and intellectual property rights. And I hope you can see my screen. I think people will have a nod. Yes. So what is important to know about these training sessions? So this is one session in a series of online training sessions. There will be monthly training sessions from now on. We will give you a link specifically to the online training sessions page on the FarmBook website. This webinar is being recorded, so for the people who are not able to be present, you will be able to essentially view it afterwards. And very important, because this is a webinar platform, you are not being filmed. All of your questions that you will ask, for instance, in the chat, which we will ask you later, these will actually be filtered through me. We will try to answer all of these. The recording will be made available online, but all of this is essentially only filmed for the people who are presenting, so you yourself are not identifiable. We ask that you ask all of your questions in the chat. I will then ask them to our guests. And today our guests are Pieter Spanogen, the project coordinator, and Inge de Bo, the scientific coordinator of the EU-FarmBook. And I will ask them to start sharing their screen. I will stop sharing mine. And again, everybody who has questions during the presentation, please ask them in the chat. Inge, Peter, I give the word to you.
Good morning. Do you see my screen?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, thank you. So, good morning. I'm the coordinator of the EU-FarmBook project, and together with my right hand, Inge, I will say a couple of words on how EU-FarmBook will tackle the legal aspects, the intellectual property rights of your knowledge objects, so that we are on the same level of understanding. And this is how I want to approach. Voila, next slide. If this now moves to the next one. Well, so for today, first of all, I give you a small introduction. What we will learn today, I will say a couple of words about it's our duty to publish in open science, so that European Commission expects it from us. Then Inge will take over from me and will talk about the terminology of the contributor agreement, the contributor that is you perhaps. So it means that you want to know how you can put information, knowledge, objects, practice, material inside the EU-FarmBook. Also, step by step, we will show you how to do the job. And then, of course, yes, if you want to reuse that information, what is your duty as a user, as a person that visits EU-FarmBook? Can you simply take off everything of EU-FarmBook and then use it for yourself? The question will be addressed at that time. I will say then finally something about good practices, and then, yes, there's time for questions. First, today, what are the introduction questions of this session? Yes, am I allowed? Yes, you are allowed to upload the output of your project into EU-FarmBook. We will explain you how. And then maybe you say, I'm not the project coordinator. I'm lost. I cannot do it. No, we will explain you that even if you're not the project coordinator, you will be able to upload information inside the EU-FarmBook. What about the intellectual property rights? What should I take into consideration? And then licensing. I never heard of it. What is it? How should I and how do I select? And then Creative Commons, that's the standard, that's the default license that we use in your FarmBook. What is it exactly? We will explain you in a moment. I said a minute ago, yes, Europe expects us to work and to publish our output in open science. So they say we need to share the knowledge, results, and the tools as early and as widely as possible. Early, the timing, that's something that we as EU-FarmBook will not have the hands on. But as widely, this is, yes, EU-FarmBook is another channel for you to disseminate your content of your project. So, and we promise that we want to spread and we will spread your information across Europe and maybe outside of Europe. This is as widely as possible. So open science, in the bottom, the quote of the Commission, it should be as open as possible and as closed as necessary. So this is, yeah, how will we do that? And that's the question of today. And yes, as open as possible. This is, of course, yeah, we do have different kind of actors, scientists. The scientists want to exchange knowledge, and this is normally done by publications and so on, and journals and scientific journals. But of course, EU-FarmBook also wants to cross the bridge between different types of disciplines, different types of people. And at the end, we want to, yeah, outreach to the whole society. So it's not only science that we will distribute, we will in fact look for other type of information because we don't want to go in competition with all these journals. And this is why EU-FarmBook started his history and started his idea. Open science is of course the idea. We want to share information, but also we want to work together on that information. So in this way, that if you can use that information in the field, then of course you make it practical. And if it's practical, then the impact of your work will increase. And if the impact increases, then of course society will move on in a good direction. I say a couple of things. You see here the fair data principle. So it means that, and most maybe, I hope in meantime, most of you understand and heard about it. So what is fair? Findable. How can I find that information? Yes, the place to be will be EU-FarmBook. Accessible. Can I download it? Can I get it? Yes, EU-FarmBook will make it accessible. Interoperable, yes. How can my data work with other data? Is there something that should I take into consideration? I will talk in a moment about metadata, because if your data don't have metadata, then it makes it difficult to find it back. And reusable, yes, this is the point of today. I put it in your FarmBook and then I get it back, or somebody else will use it. And what can he do with it? And is there a certain property right on it? And that's the license that we will discuss in a moment. EU-FarmBook, I said already a lot of it. Be aware that we are not focusing in the first place on scientific papers, but we are focusing on practice-oriented materials. So information that you can use on the farm, in the forest, and that you can explain easily to the user, and that's a farmer or a forester. So it's knowledge exchange. It's of course the idea, okay, we will spread it across Europe so that it's available for every person in Europe. We will help you that people find your information back, and then the multilinguality is a point that, of course, if you have it on your screen and you don't understand it, the language can be one of the bottlenecks, and we store it for the long term. So this is all EU-FarmBook about. And if you say I'm not aware or familiar with it, so www.eufarmbook.eu. I talked already about data and fair data and so on. Don't be confused. Data, it's not a list. It's not an Excel sheet of temperature data. Okay, this information is also welcome. But in fact, data, we call it also in a broader context, it's knowledge objects or it's contributions for practice-oriented material. So what is a practice-oriented material? Yeah, that can be an info sheet, it can be a summary of your work, it can be a report, it can be something very in detail, well done. It can be an infographic, so it means that, okay, this is all what we call data, so don't be confused, data. So it means that we want you to store that information. As you can see, if you're from universities and whatever, these are not typical scientific papers. And so this is a little bit the point where we put the focus on. A video, voila, very easy to understand. You watch it and then you say, okay, I can follow it. It's a visible way of transferring information, knowledge to the user of that knowledge. A little bit of summary of it. So text, documents, videos, presentation, podcast, application, data sets, images, they are all different types of knowledge objects, different types of data, different types of practice-oriented materials we are looking for. And then, of course, yes, it is not for the medical doctors, or it's not for IT people. Our users are farmers, foresters, and advisors. So it is a specific domain where we are looking for that information. Fair data, yeah, for fair data, you don't need to upload only that YouTube video in the platform. No, we need more information of that. And that's what we call, okay, you should give it a title. We should know who was the author, who was the creator of that object. And we should know, okay, is it the date of creation? So it's old information or it's only recently? And then you say a couple of other things, images and so on. What you can see, all these different types of metadata, it looks like a long list, but today we only will focus on, okay, you have to give it a certain license, and that's the purpose of today. So what you see in the platform, if you download an object, or if you put it on the screen, that you see, okay, one of those metadata, it is the license, and therefore we want you to have interest in it and to pay attention to it. So what is it exactly? This is something that Inge now will take over from me and explain to you.
Good morning. I will share my screen. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Now. Okay, let's have a closer look in the contributor agreement. So we have a simplified contributor agreement of only 3 pages. And the first page is a very easy one. That's one that you see at the right side. And we have 2 sentences. You have to read and understand the terms of the contributor agreement and the license to which I will adhere. And I have read and understood the terms of the privacy policy. So by clicking on these 2 boxes, you agree, and this is the moment you have signed and that you can go for the contribution. But of course, we want to have a closer look and see what are now the detailed information and somehow your rights or what we expect from your side. So here it starts with the 2 parties. At one side, you have the project, you as contributor, and at the other side, we have the EU-FarmBook Horizon Europe Project Consortium, represented by Professor Pieter Spanhoge. And we have 3 definitions. So the first definition of contribution of a knowledge object. I think this is well explained by Pieter. But then we have also contributor or provider of KO, knowledge object, and also submit or upload. So let's have a closer look in these 2 other definitions. For submit or upload or transfer or contribute, we say in the consortium, in the contributor agreement, it's written, it's the act of uploading, submitting, transmitting, or distributing content to the EU-FarmBook online platform. And this can be done via an online upload form. Then you do it in a manual way or via an API, and then that's more in a programmatic way. So we have 3 methods of uploading. This is not now the focus or purpose of this training session, but we can say it doesn't matter for which upload method you choose. We only have one common contributor agreement. For the contributor or provider of knowledge objects, we are looking for or the coordinator of a research and innovation project, or the collaborators of research and innovation projects. We want to say it's any person of your project that has the permission to disseminate project outputs. For us, it doesn't matter if you say within your team, within your consortium, who will take the action to upload, that's fine for us. Or if we go to the repositories on national, regional, sectoral level, and there are existing repositories and you have a manager, a responsible, or again, somebody that is taking this permission to disseminate, to connect with us, then we say you can be the contributor as well. And of course, our EU-FarmBook ambassadors team, they can do as well, they can contribute, they can upload your KOs. Let's say this is not what we want to do on a daily basis, but if you have any questions, we have a whole team of 19 ambassadors over Europe, and they are here to facilitate your uploads. So you have the QR code and you can have a look who is your ambassador in your region or country or for your sector, or you can contact us. It's very important that we just have a talk and that we can look for the situation. But for us, these are the contributors or providers. If you now read in the contributor agreement, the definition, there it's written, it's a co-creator, creator or author, or the contact person with whom the contributor agreement is signed. So it's something, abstract, you can say. But what does that mean? Why did we take this definition? It's because to respect the intellectual property rights of each knowledge object, we must have this contributor agreement agreed. This is just legal. And what do we mean by intellectual property rights? I just read this sentence, this definition. It's the legal right that protects creations resulting from intellectual activity, such as inventions, literary and artistic works, designs, symbols, names, images used in commerce. So it gives the creator, it gives the inventors, the authors, an exclusive right over their work for a certain period. And if you think about common types of intellectual property rights, I'm sure you know about patents, about copyrights, about trademarks and trade secrets. So if we have a closer look now, we are, of course, EU-FarmBook platform is not looking to patents. We are looking for knowledge, what is relevant for agriculture and forestry communities. And we know that every work that is invented, that is created, somehow there is a copyright on it. You have the symbol C with a circle around, but it happens automatically. You don't have to ask it to any institute. You don't have to see that symbol. You always should assume copyright on everything that you consult. And you can only use knowledge objects. Now I'm looking specific for this session, the knowledge object only for personal use. Of course, this is not really easy and not an optimal condition for knowledge exchange. So for these reasons, it's better that we choose a license. And we are looking to the public license, the Creative Commons license. And later on, I will take more time to have a look on that. And we are proposing the default license. That means everyone can use your knowledge objects, can publish it, can make use of it. Of course, they should always acknowledge the author, the creator. I think it's like what is common practice with scientific journals, etc. You have references when you're using pictures. Somehow you always mention the source or the creator. So this is what we want to do. And you, as a contributor, you can choose to have another more restrictive license. That's very important. And our EU-FarmBook team, we support you with licensing the knowledge objects. Just to tell you, the moment copyright is over, is expired, this is usually the lifetime of the creator plus 70 years. There are some exceptions on it, but just as a general rule. And then the copyrighted work enters to the public domain, what means everyone can just use, exploit without any permission. Or you can also say, I can choose by myself for a CC0 license, and that means also you don't have to acknowledge me, you don't have to mention me as creator, as author, it's just for the public domain. Okay, let's go further with the contributor agreements. There are some texts here. It's very important that we can say that the general idea is that it's freely accessible for any user, any visitor on the platform. You don't have to be registered. Everyone can have a look and can consult. We all recognize the value of open science. This is what we are expected to since Horizon Europe. And we want this free exchange of project outputs. So EU-FarmBook is here for you to help you with the purpose of safekeeping, with dissemination, and of course also for reuse, because knowledge exchange is not just in one direction. We want the platform users, we want the practitioners that they make use of it and implement all these innovative solutions and knowledge. I will not look to more text on you, but some points of attention with this contributor agreement. What I told you already, it's the public access. We also say the contributions may not infringe, violate third-party intellectual property and or conform GDPR if this is relevant. So do not violate third-party intellectual property means if you make use of a video, if you make use of photos, images, and so on, the moment you create this project output, an infographic or whatever, then it's important that you realize that you have to look to that license, or that you have to certainly have to mention the authors. Conform GDPR means that you are looking to this general data protection regulations, and this is, again, something the moment you create this project outputs and you want to disseminate, the moment you're uploading this, you don't have to be afraid of that. And if somebody has a complaint about a specific knowledge object of you, you don't have to worry at all, because we are there with a whole team, we are taking care of it, and we have you as a contact person, so we can study this and see if we have to remove it from the platform. So, as we already told, it's a Creative Commons CC BY default license. It's only for publicity, so we don't get any final compensation. And like with every agreement, you can always terminate the agreement at all times, so we can remove submitted content. And this can be done from your side as a project, or from the EU-FarmBook consortium. But now I think it's good that we look to the steps to really contribute and see with the legal aspects on that. So here you have the workflow, and I will show this workflow in the 4 steps, and I call it the idle workflow. This is that you say, okay, it's the coordinator that take the action. First step is you go to our EU-FarmBook platform, and there you have the link. Then, I'm sorry to say, but I have to say here, contribute to the EU-FarmBook. You can click on the right side. But it's important that you're first registered. So it's easy to create an account. Nowadays, we have it already in the 6 languages. And if you look week after week, month after month, you will see that we will have it available in all, the whole platform will be available in all the European the EU languages. The moment you have created your account, you can go back to this contribute research link, and there you have some information, but below you can click on request access, because this is the first step that we do, is we are looking for your project. It's your Horizon 2020 or Horizon Europe project, and then for example, here I type the project name FarmBook, and there is a link with Cordis on the EU portal, and then EU-FarmBook is there shown, and all information that is relevant will be uploaded on the EU-FarmBook platform. So it's easy for you, and you can add in project websites, and you see, accept the rights and the conditions, because you, as our first contact person, you have to agree with this contributor agreement and default license, and also the privacy policy. You click on request access, and then I go back to this workflow. Then you can do by yourself the upload of knowledge objects, or you can invite project collaborators. So then we have the blue line, and they can help you or can do the upload for the projects. For this, it's very important that your collaborators are registered as well. Otherwise, you will not find them. So what do I mean? The moment you request access, immediately you have this access is granted and you can add contributors. Here I have my dashboard, you can say. For two projects, EU-FarmBook and Nutrino, I'm the supposed project coordinator. For FarmBook, yes, I'm the scientific coordinator. For Nutrino, no, but that's not that important. We can change these roles, but just to show you, I can add now contributions for both projects. If you say I want to I want to invite my collaborators, my colleagues to contribute, then you go to the right side to the settings, and there you have contributors. The moment you add them, you fill in the email address, and it can be added successfully if they are already registered. Or, for example, here is another UGent colleague that is not registered, should not be registered for this action, and then you get this. So that you can ask and invite them to register. And then the upload can be started in a manual way, for example. But of course, there are many situations that is not that you're not following this idle workflow. It can be that you're not a coordinator, you don't find a project, somehow you don't want to wait and invite project collaborators. You are not a coordinator, but the responsible for dissemination. That's all possible that we can somehow skip steps, I would say, and that we can facilitate your upload by contacting your ambassador or by contacting us through the contact form. Okay, sorry, still no time for Coca-Cola break, I would say, but now I want to have a specific or closer look to the CC license. And I'm sure you already saw the symbol R with a circle that is showing you we have registered trademarks. We have also the C with a circle as a copyright. And now I want to tell you or explain you how you can read all the other 6 other symbols and license. For this, you don't have to learn by heart. We have a license chooser from Creative Commons, and this is available in the online upload form. So the moment, step by step, you're guided to add extra information to your knowledge objects. And like Peter explained to you, the license is so important for an optimal knowledge exchange. So there, CC BY is the default, but you can change it. And the moment you want to change it, you click on the E symbol for help. And if you scroll down, you can see this Creative Commons license chooser. Another option is you just Google or you go to this link and you have these steps. And if you look to the questions they are asking, then it's about 3 topics. The first topic is, do you want attribution to your work? Do you want to be acknowledged? Do you want to get credit for your work? Normally it's yes, and in the CC license, you will see in the overview, we don't have this, and everyone should be mentioned for this authorship. So another thing is the commercial use. And a third question is about, are others allowed to remix or adapt to build upon your work? And I think that's a very important one. For a video, I can imagine that you say, but I don't want to that they take 1 minute extract from a 3 minutes video. While if you say, I have a PowerPoint, it's good that you can use some slides, that you adapt some so that you can use this in another educational or training session. So again, this is something that you have to answer this question. And then As a result, you get a recommended license. Okay, but let's have a look. The CC means Creative Commons, so it means we are using these public licenses. BY, this is also the symbol of a person with a circle, means it's very important that you always give attribution so that you give credit to the original creator. Share alike, SA is abbreviation, and then we have that symbol. That means if you remix or transform, or you build upon the material, you must distribute your contributions under the same license as the original. So, okay, this is something that you have to take into account the moment you produce your dissemination material. Non-derivative, ND, means this license allows for redistribution, commercial and non-commercial, as long as it's passed along unchanged and in a whole with credit to you. So unchanged, you cannot change anything. And then NC means non-commercial. This work may not be used for commercial purposes. And here you have the overview at the right side. And this is also the overview that you can find in the new upload form very soon on our EU-FarmBook platform, the moment you will add. Then we have here CC-BY is the default, and you will see for every license that you choose, we always have copy and publish. So you are allowed, of course, this is the reason why we are choosing this license. But attribution is always required. So you always see the BY. And then some are excluded for commercial use or excluded that you can modify or that you can change the license. I really like this figure because it also shows you that depending on what is allowed, you see you are choosing for a very open license. And the most open is, of course, the CC0, because then you give up your copyright and you just put it into the worldwide public domain. Or you can say it's only the share and always with attribution, always with giving credit to the creator. And most closed is then all rights reserved. Or for those that would like to have everything on one figure and likes a lot of colors. I mean, there are different figures that helps you that you can consult. Okay, then I give the word back to Peter.
Peter, we need your microphone.
Yeah, I'm closing this part of the session. So to end up with some good practices. So okay. As you understood from Inge, we as EU-FarmBook, we give your knowledge object a license, and it's a default one, CC-BY. So if you say, okay, good practices, I will not think about it. I trust the people of EU-FarmBook, they will have done a good job and so on. So that is the default, and you will have a license on your knowledge object when you upload it in the system. But if you say, oh, I need to take care because my colleague or because the other institute will say, okay, you put it inside the platform and I didn't know that, and now everybody will use it and I'm not happy with that. So the best thing is that you discuss this, this license inside a consortium meeting, inside a general assembly of your project, and be aware, we as also being working in a project, we said, okay, there will always be someone in the room that is able to help you and to help you with decide which is the right license to choose. What we also feel is that, yes, it would be very helpful if you publish it directly on your knowledge object. And this is an example. So it means that it's a booklet. And there you see, yes, the CC, BY, and then the SA addition to that knowledge object. So it makes very clear what kind of license that you are looking for when you have your knowledge object. So this is how it works. So this means that it's up to you to say what explicitly should be done with that knowledge object. Okay, to summarize this session or this part of the session, first of all, yes, author, creator, that's one type of actor in a project. So they make the knowledge object, they make the practice material, they make the video and so on. And then you have a contributor. So it can be the author, the creator, but it can also be someone else from the project. You understood that as a contributor, you can be the coordinator, you can be a collaborator, you can be every type of role inside the project, but you need to sign an agreement. You need to say, okay, in that agreement, yes, okay, then it's normal the default license. If you have something else, then it will be another type of license. But you also need to agree with the privacy policy, the GDPR, and the cookies policy. Then if you say, okay, I will not interfere with the platform, I only want to look what is inside the platform, then you are a user of the platform, and then everything is visible and is accessible. And then if you say, okay, this is nice information, I will download it on my computer and I will use it in another format and in another way, in another situation, then please respect the privacy policy, respect the cookies policy, but also respect the author's rights and licenses. And then the final slide to say, okay, we are here to help you. So be aware that there are ambassadors in your country. Yes, the point of contacts from EU-FarmBook in your country that may give you more explanation. Voila, I give back the floor to Lawrence.
Thank you, Peter and Inge, for this very lovely presentation. This is now the time for questions, and I'm also having a look so that we can still see questions coming in. I see that there are already a few questions. The first one I can answer because can we get the slides after the meeting? Absolutely, you will get these slides after the meeting. The second one is actually related to the last point that Peter was mentioning. So for instance, if you are building a national platform and you have some questions regarding these legal aspects, who do you contact? Is this the ambassador or is there a central person at EU-FarmBook that you should contact for this?
That's what I just explained. You will always have colleagues that can help you in the first place. And if you finally want some advice, because there is a different policy between EU-FarmBook policy and between your platform policy. So it means that it can be two different approaches, and we are not the persons that will say, okay, in your platform, you should follow this or whatever policy. But if you still need information, just send to me and Inge an email, and we will try to help you, because of course it's new for us. It's new for all, I believe, for most of us. So it means that we want to give a good answer, but today we are talking about what is the information EU-FarmBook is looking for, and that information should of course be open and accessible and in fact reusable. So therefore we have chosen a default value CC BY.
Okay, thank you. There are several questions coming in. I think another question which is quite important is we made the link before between Horizon and, for instance, these EIP agri projects actually. So the question is, do materials posted on EU-FarmBook have to come from Horizon Europe projects? Can I post results from my Interreg, Erasmus Plus, or Prima projects, for example?
This is a good point. So today we have this session organized for the Horizon projects. It's the next step. So there is only one restriction. It should be practical material useful for farmers, foresters, and advisors. So this is the point. So if from the moment that you feel, okay, this is what EU-FarmBook is looking for, it's a movie, it's a podcast, or whatever I just explained, then it's welcome. But then we need to say, okay, the format is now starting up with the European projects, and then other types of approaches will come up soon. But it's not that it is there yet, but I would also ask, please contact us by the contact formula, and then we will find a solution to upload that material from other types of projects and institutions and whatever.
Thank you. There's also another question. I'm going to see if I can ask it in the right way. The question is actually whether it's necessary to publish only original data on the platform. If not, for instance, then the individual copyright CC licenses would be relevant to take into account beforehand. So if you were to post something that has been edited, most likely you do have to make sure that you can actually edit it and that you have this Creative Commons. If you upload, for instance, something that has been adapted.
Yes, this is what the EU-FarmBook is all about. It means that you upload a knowledge object inside the EU-FarmBook, and then somebody will reuse it. And if that reused format is much better or much, you can say I will have a certain written document, I will make a YouTube movie out of it. So it means that at that time you are putting it in a new format, you make it reusable. And at that time, it's welcome, and even it should be good if there should be a link to the original document where it comes from, and then so that the user that comes up to the EU-FarmBook platform that says, okay, I can read it, or I can also look at the video of that. So it's of course. Yes, CC BY means that you need to refer it to the right person, author, and you give the credits to him, but you are able to adapt it. And we are not looking to the original source, we are looking to the end product of your project. It's something practical, useful in the field. And that's most of the time maybe a scientific paper that is transferred into practical movie or whatever, so that people understand what they can do with it.
Hey, very clear. I see that we also have an additional question, and this is, I think, a bit more related to the part in the presentation where we discussed knowledge objects and practice-oriented material. So in the case of the public deliverables of the Horizon Europe project, does it actually make sense to share them on the EU-FarmBook?
I must say today we are not focusing on public deliverables because there is another channel for that. So it means that these deliverables will maybe be welcome later on in the project when we will have a chatbot that makes a distinction between the source of the deliverables and the source of really the practical knowledge. But in case that your deliverable is really practical, understandable way, and then you need to put yourself in the head of a farmer working in the farm, you are looking for quick information, and then you say, okay, I will look in your farm book, I will look for that information, and you end up in a deliverable. And if you need to read 70 pages before you know exactly what is the outcome. So I hope you understand this is not the type of information that we want to put in your farm book. We want to focus on information that is really fast understandable, because we are living in a society where everything has to move up fast, and preferably with a lot of visual tools so that we can see it before our eyes how it should be done.
Okay, I think this is very clear. And I think then related to the topic of today, these have been all of the questions. I would like to thereby thank the two guests who have given the presentation today, and I hope that this has been very clear to the audience. If there are any questions, as this was mentioned, feel free to reach out to us. This can be either through the project website where there is a contact form, or through the platform, the EU-FarmBook platform itself, where you also have the possibility to ask questions. So that being said, I wish all of you a very nice day, and I hope to see you at one of our next training sessions. Goodbye.